Hello everyone, Purple Link 33 here. It's been a while. You guys saw the first couple videos I posted this year, and those were the last couple videos I posted this year back in January. I feel it's been a long time, and I wanted to discuss kind of get a review of the decade and of the year for myself. It's been a hell of a decade. The 20 teens will go down as a decade of much growth for yours truly. Of course, ending in, well, you guys know how it ended. So just kind of going back, starting in 2010, the first couple of years of the 20 teens, I was a cast member at the Walt Disney World Resort, and I was, looking back now, at a pretty low point in my life. Had just gotten out of a verbally abusive relationship, which, don't tell me there's no scars with that, because I still feel those every day, and they suck donkey. But I met someone who was from Pittsburgh. She was incredible, and we would have stayed together if it wasn't for A, not for me moving, and B, we just weren't going to be together like that for the rest of our lives. Still good friends. I haven't talked to her in a long time, though, so I realized that. End of 2011 was when I realized I was running out of money and had to come home, and I moved back to Wisconsin, which is where I sit now. And went through a couple different jobs. Finally came back to hotels and hospitality. Worked in sales, a couple positions. I learned I'm not a car salesman by any sense of the imagination. I am not a car salesman whatsoever. So if you want to buy a car from me, great. I'll give you the greatest deal, and the managers will look at me and go, no, you're not going to sell the car for that fucking little, okay? But I realized I was not necessarily a salesperson, which might make a lot of sense, as I don't promote myself on here a whole hell of a lot. Got into hospitality. Turned 30 back in 2014, and I decided at that point that I didn't care anymore. I didn't care what people thought of me. I didn't care what people were. I didn't care if people would look at me and go, huh, "He's a nerd." I don't give a shit. I am on here. I do videos of myself playing video games, which hasn't happened since last year. I have my reasons. We'll get to those. So got back from there, turned 30. I was working at another hotel in Madison, which is kind of where I've been around the Madison area. And I went to my first midnight launch, which happened to be for Smash Brothers Smash Brothers for the Wii U, and for Mario Kart 8, I think. I just got my Wii U, and I got that for the Wind Waker HD, which was preloaded, and oh my god, that's a shitstorm of a console. Kind of in the mid 2000s, I started really branching out and coming out of my shell, and those people who do know me are like, "You never had a shell to begin with. You were already always out of it." Well, no, I was hiding. I hid a lot of things. Most of the things I hid were, things like you see here now that I have no problem doing in public, like hosting trivia or doing the video games live on stream or anything like that. Doing some funny voices, which I'd always done those, but I never really got out and did them on my own. It was always just kind of situational, which it still is like that now, but I guess that's something I'm still working on, I guess. But mid 2000s, I started to really branch out as a person, and started to get to know more people, and started to realize the people that I didn't necessarily want to hang out with, which you do that as you get older. And there's some people that it's not that I don't want to hang out with them, I just never do. I'm kind of a strange mix, I think, between an introvert and an extrovert. I do both, and the extroverted part of me works at a hotel at a front desk and is great with people and works in front of people. The introvert comes home on Friday night and sits in front of a computer and plays video games by himself for no damn reason other than video games are there. So there was that, and I started really working toward getting a leadership job in my job, and I'd gotten it, and then I got another job. Before that was the event that kind of shook the latter part of the decade for me and my family, was Mom's diagnosis in 2017. And I really tried everything I could to not be defined by that, to not let my life be defined by that. And that's when I started going to MagFest. 2018 was my first year. 2020 will not be my last. I love MagFest. It's so good. And I mean, before the diagnosis, the year before, we went out to Colorado. We went out to finally got to see the mountains for the first time. Sorry, East Coast, your mountains don't count. your mountains don't count nearly as much as if you see the Front Range in Denver. That's the view you want to get. But I also learned that climbing the mountains, not in my future. We got up to the top of Pikes Peak, did the Cog Railway, which is actually really cool. And I got the headache of a lifetime. And it didn't go away when I came back down. So that was some serious shit. And I went to bed at like 10:30 that night after we saw a game in Colorado Springs with the Sky Sox, the Brewers affiliate. Aside from that, went on end of the decade, did a job switch. I started doing this. I started doing YouTube back in 2017. And I've gone back to watch some of my older videos, and there's two things I noticed. One is that my first LP is fucking terrible. Do not go back and watch my Sonic Adventure DX Let's Play, because it's terrible. The mix is bad. It's hard to hear me, even though I know I'm right up on the microphone. It was actually this microphone, but I got a new one, and just bumped the microphone. Hey, that's something you guys should be used to if you're watching this channel. Played some Smash Brothers, which I should have done that first, I think, but I also wanted to kind of get my feet wet before I started doing a game like that. And I tried starting doing other stuff that I just didn't necessarily want to do. I was holding out for a grand plan that I had to do all of the Legend of Zelda games in order based on their where they were in the timeline. I made it 3 games in, basically. I did Link to the Past, I did Breath of the Wild, which was an 8-month endeavor, and then I did an Ocarina of Time randomizer, which kind of doesn't count. End of that randomizer was the end of 2018, where we started seeing Mom go downhill a bit, and it was a rough last few months of 2018. My 33rd birthday, which is 2017, my mom had her first surgery. It was to remove part of her colon to get some of the cancer out. And that was when they could get her in, and I said, that date does not matter. I would rather you go take care of yourself. And I remember that like the weekend before, the Friday before, the Saturday before, we had an alumni band at Whitewater. And Mom was also in the band, so she went. She didn't play, but she had just gotten this diagnosis like a month and a half before, and we had some really good friends who were at this thing, and we were like, it was terrible. We had to tell everybody, this is what's going on, but we're gonna fight, and and we fought hard. 2018 was kind of a bit of a blur. Mainly because I had that big job change in the beginning of the year, and then it was most of the year was Breath of the Wild on here, and then I did start streaming a little bit toward the end of 2018, so that was a really good thing to start doing that. My good friend Solid Plasma Evan was doing his game Bedlam Ball, and I thought, that's a good way to get started. So it's how we got started, and I met him at MagFest. We've become really good friends since then. We've both hit affiliate on Twitch, which is awesome. We both had a fairly good 2019. It didn't start necessarily the greatest. MagFest last year was supposed to be all 3 of us going. Myself, my father, my mother, all of us were going to be there. And then toward the end of December, we started realizing Mom wasn't going to necessarily make it because the decline was happening. And we didn't realize how fast that was going to happen. So it happened, and Dad said, no, I have to stay here too. And that's when, if you haven't seen the last couple videos, you know what happened. If you've seen the last couple videos, you know what happened. If not, Mom passed away January 4th of this year. That, honestly, I should look back at that and be absolutely gutted, distraught, horrified, saddened. Here's the thing. I am. I am. All of those things. But I've been feeling that since 2017. When someone tells you stage 4 cancer involving them, you go, oh, how long do you have? So I had pretty much been dealing with it for the previous, for about the year and a half before she passed. And this year was tying up the loose ends from Mom's life and getting ready to move into my own. And not just my own, but Dad and myself and my dad without Mom. And we had plans early in the year to move. And yes, we wanted to move almost immediately. We wanted to get the hell out of here. Not that we don't like Wisconsin. It's just fucking cold up here. If you've ever been to Wisconsin in the wintertime, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless you've been in the last couple weeks. And it's only cold if you're not used to it. Well, it'll be in the 20s when I get back from MagFest this year. Compared to around 50 in DC during this time, during the end of the week. So, yeah, this year was spent trying to figure out what to do, and probably the best thing I did actually in 2018, leading into 2019, was sign up for Extra Life, which easily the best thing I've done, and I've met some incredible people through the Milwaukee Guild. And I've made some great friendships there. We were at Extra Life United in Orlando this last year, in March. I will likely not make it this year because of the big move, and that's going to cost a lot of money, and I'm not going to have a lot of money, and I'm not going to have the time off to spend, unfortunately. So I don't think that's going to happen. I would love to be wrong and still show up. I would love to be wrong. Absolutely would love to be wrong. And show up to compete for the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. This year raised about $1,655, I believe was the final number, for the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin, which was incredible. That destroyed last year's number, but then again, that last year only had a couple months in it, and a lot of that money was mine. Did game day in November. This year's just kind of weird. We have, like Dad and I've had some different memories this particular year. Like I took him to a Brewer game for his birthday, and he's only 58. Relatively, I turned 35 this year, which that's a trip. But Dad turning 58, and there was a senior stroll at the end of the particular game we were at, and I walked up to the person. There was a line, forming, and I walked up to the person. I explained to them it was Dad's birthday. He's this age, and they just said, "Get in line, just get in line and go." All right, cool, I'll take it. So I get to walk in the field. It was actually kind of cool. That wall out in center field, out in the outfield, is actually pretty damn tall. It's about, I'd say, close to 8 to 10 feet tall. So it's up there. I had to try, to do the rob the home run, which I'm not gonna be able to do that ever again because I don't have the hops. Another thing that I've enjoyed at the end of this year is something that I have to thank my buddy Newfie Nate for. Another extra lifer from Newfoundland, hence why he's called Newfie Nate. He drinks this stuff called G Fuel, which I I got into when we got a bonus. We got a pack from our fundraising at Extra Life, and I thought, well, let's give it a try. How bad's it gonna be? And I recommend it, especially if you're a sodaholic like I have been in my life. I used to go through probably a 6-pack a day. Not just at home, like at home, at work. Like at work, I can go to the bar that we have in our hotel. I can fill up my glass with whatever non-alcoholic beverage that's on the gun. So Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Sierra Mist, or whatever it is. I can fill my glass with that. Or I can have a G Fuel that has more caffeine than I had been drinking and has no sugar. Because I know my weight's up there. I've been 325 at my worst this year. Last I had checked, it was about 312. And that's been in just the last couple months that drop has happened. So, as soda out of my life? No. It's. I don't know if it will ever necessarily leave my life, but I don't think I'll have as much of a dependence on it. And yes, you can have a dependence on soda. Know that caffeine headache? That's what that is. Ending the year. Another thing I forgot to mention was in the middle part of 2017, I'd started hosting in League Trivia of Madison, and I've had a couple different shows. I had a couple great shows at the end of my time. On the 19th, which was 2 weeks ago, this upcoming on New Year's Day, really, was my last regular show at my Wednesday venue, and some really cool people that I'm going to miss dearly. I was kind of doing that in preparation for the big move. Dad and I are moving this year. Where to? We're figuring it out. I'm hoping for Austin personally, because I've heard so many good things about Austin. Basically, take Madison times 5 and put it in Texas. So that I'm very much looking forward to. When it happens, that is. That will be probably a month, at least a month out, if not more. Kind of hoping for more, because I don't know if you can see in the shop behind me, but I got a lot of shit in my room that I got to take care of. So we'll get that taken care of. In the meantime, starting out 2020, this decade we're getting started off with a huge change with that. Like I said, with the big move. My future on this channel, you probably won't see as much new content on here. All of the new content you could probably find on Twitch, twitch.tv/purplelink33. That's on this screen right here. That's actually not on that screen. That's the screen I show on Twitch, but that's the name you want to look at. Yeah, I got a logo this year. It's actually pretty cool. I kind of like it. But yeah, you'll probably see a lot more on Twitch. I'm going to try to make that push toward a partner. I don't think that'll happen this year or even next year. And I'm referring to 20 and 21 is what I'm referring to. And hopefully, hopefully it happens or it doesn't. And I find a job that makes me a ton of money. So I can, actually live on my own instead of with my dad. Which I don't begrudge him at all. I don't begrudge this living situation at all, especially since especially with the events that have happened. The first couple of years, yeah, I was living with my parents in a small duplex in DeForest, and that was tiny. I'm a big dude, and no, we moved here, to my current domicile. And I have a full finished basement down here, which is kind of nice. And this little corner over here is my computer corner. I got my key lights. I got my camera. I got my internet friends right in front of me. So there is all of that. But yeah, going forward on this channel, you probably see some more. You'll probably start to see some VODs from previous Twitch broadcasts. I might go back all the way to some of my first broadcasts, 2019. So you guys can see some of that, and you'll see those probably in the coming weeks. Reason being, editing just sucks ass. I hate editing so much, and those last couple of videos, especially, even with just Ocarina of Time, I could tell I was losing it. I was done. And I did not want to do any more editing. Like, for the love of God, I didn't want to do any more editing. Stop editing, please. I barely edited any of that last bit. Don't bang the desk or you'll make the camera shake up and down, idiot. And like with this video, it won't be edited probably whatsoever. I'll hit the stop button, and that will be probably it. I mean, I'm not gonna. I can't stand editing. So that's probably why you've seen a lot more of the content not happen on this channel and happen on Twitch. Twitch is open game, press go live, and here we are. Hi everyone, PurpleLink33 here. So that's kind of the future of this channel. I had so much grand plans for it, but Twitch has just been a better avenue for me, especially with the shitstorm that YouTube is going to have starting in 2020. I'm interested to see how that's going to work out with the whole COPPA thing, which I know has been a thing for a long time, but it's just they're starting to hit people with COPPA violations, and I'll take my channel down before any of that happens to me. That's kind of where I'm at. I'll take my channel down first. If you're watching this, I mean, if you're under 13, this is not intended for a child audience. You've heard my fucking mouth. That's how it goes. Plain and simple. So anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out, for listening to me kind of ramble about this decade and the plans I have for the coming decade, or at least the coming year. We'll see what happens as we go forward. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. And go to twitch.tv/PurpleLink33. Throw me a follow on there. If you really feel generous, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost that much. And if you're already a Twitch Prime, or if you're already a Prime member through Amazon or Twitch, you can get a free sub for a month, and I get credit for it, which is awesome. So again, thank you all so much. And if you're going to be at MagFest this year, 2 a.m. on Saturday night / Sunday morning, January 5th, I'll be presenting a video game pub trivia event, giving away some fabulous prizes to be determined, may or may not be actually fabulous. But I'm hoping that we can have everyone have a good time toward the end of the convention. And if you're going to MagFest, I hope to see you guys there. Look for me. I'll be around. I'm in the hotel, which would be nice. But until next time, we will see you guys. Later. Take care, everyone. Happy New Year, and I hope you have a great 2020 and for the rest of the 20s going on. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.